Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me Brooke Lee of Rev.io. Brooke, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we're here at ChannelCon at the end of the ChannelCon conference, and the big news is Rev.io is Member of the Year for GTIA. Congratulations, Brooke.
Thank you so much. Very grateful and very humbled this week.
So, I'm going to keep that up on the screen. First of all, what is Rev.io?
We are a software solution specifically for MSPs, and it is a PSA and a billing platform with a native AI foundation. So I think of it, or I try to describe it as this is what a PSA should have been when they first came out, and we ended up sort of settling for ticketing and some other things. But this is truly a solution that you can use to run your entire MSP business from quote all the way to payments and cash. So literally everything and anything in between from every single person that works in an MSP, not just for the technicians and the engineers.
Now, why did you win the Member of the Year award?
The snarky answer is I filled out an application. I was picked. I think the answer is probably because I am extremely passionate about this community, and my background is tech. I have a degree in computer science, and I worked at MSPs, and I've been in IT, and we are generally problem solvers. So to me, I saw things that I could help fix for GTIA. We were struggling to find ways to show people how to find, hire, and retain women talent. So I helped write a guidebook. Then I was realizing that we have a lot of people that become members of GTIA, but they only have one or two people from their company plugged into the organization. So I was like, we need to fix that. So I wrote a case study and I am implementing it at Rev.io to test it out. So different things like that. That was what I had on my application that was quite intense, by the way. But I think those are the things that I hope that why I was voted in, because of the work that I do to give back to the community.
So this has been you guys have had quite a lot of news this year. You've been out there basically making announcements. Can you share with us some of the developments at Rev.io in addition to the awards?
So Rev.io, our background, the company's been around since 2002. There's two gentlemen that own the company, Brent and Evan. Brent's based out of Atlanta. That's where our headquarters is at. We have a considerable number of staff that are there. And then Evan is based out of Dallas. These gentlemen have been in business since 2002, but they have been friends for a really long time. They've had a bunch of businesses together. They can tell you some really great stories, maybe at the lobby bar over a couple of beers. But they started this company in 2002 basically as a way for billing, for telco, how to bill the traditional telco minutes, how to bill the lines, how to deal with the taxes, which is just a hot mess. So they did that for several years. And then they realized we need to figure out how do we put this into action. We need some sort of a ticketing platform to make this work. And they were like, well, since we're kind of going to do this now, we should just do it with a native AI base. So it probably took them, I would say, 2.5, 3 years of development to get where we are to where they released it. I started here in January, and I think the first person that I met from Rev.io was a gentleman named Usman Zahur. He was my boss at Rev.io until just recently. He got promoted to GM of Commerce. He sent me a message on LinkedIn and said, hey, Brooke, it looks like you're really plugged into the MSP space. Just wanted to connect. And I have a policy. I respond to everybody that sends me a message on LinkedIn because I always say you never know who you're going to meet, what kind of connections you're going to be able to make with people. Right. How can I sort of, get that stuff down the road? So we did that, and then I went to the PAX 8 Beyond event that year. That was the last year that they were in Denver, and Usman and Rev.io were there, and Usman came up to meet me at the booth. He wanted to meet in person. He wanted me to meet the team. So I walked over there, was very excited about what they were doing. I tell people I'm a massive PSA geek. Nobody loves a good PSA more than me. So they were showing me all the really cool things they were doing. And I was like, wow, this is some really cool stuff that you guys have figured out. It was light years ahead of everything that we have out there. So that sort of started. And they were like, we would love if you could beta test. I was like, absolutely. I would love to get in there and mess around with the product. So that's sort of how I met him. And then at the end of this year, I took a call from a gentleman, Evan Rice. He's one of the owners. I honestly thought the call is he was just sort of asking for some go-to-market help for the MSP space. So I do a lot of those. So we ended up on the call for about an hour. After the fact, I did not realize that Brent was also on the call sitting off to the side and I couldn't see him. And he said, tell me, how do you feel about Rev for the MSP space? And again, when I'm passionate about something, it definitely shows. So I'm talking about all the really cool things that I think that it has to offer. This is how I think we should talk about it. This is how I think we should position it in the MSP space. So after about an hour, he's like, do you want to work here? And I was like, I don't know, maybe I do. So then about 4 days later, and this was the week before Christmas, I accepted an offer from the boys over at RevIO, and then I started in January.
Brooke, since we're talking about some of our history, I would like it if you could share. I normally don't have people show their lanyards, but I think your lanyard says as an interesting story about your personal involvement with this organization and with the industry.
100%. So this is the lanyard, and mine doesn't have a ton of stuff on it.
Oh, yours does.
There's a lot of people, they have a lot more things. So it's got the member on there. I'm a vendor. I'm also a speaker at this year's ChannelCon. I got to do the new member orientation. There's a lady named Stacy Whitley. She works here at GTI. I've been friends with her for a number of years. That was probably one of my favorite speaking sessions that I've been able to do here, because it's like the first impression. It's like when you're an MSP and you do a new client onboarding, it's the very first impression you're going to make on somebody. So for me, I take that really seriously. So it's a way for me to meet all of the new people in the room. And the room was absolutely packed. It was standing room only. I bet we had more than 100 and some odd people in there. And we're making these connections. We're having conversations because I want them to be as passionate and as excited about GTAI as I am. So I was like, this is just the best way for me to do it. So I absolutely love doing that one. I'm also on the GLC, the Global Leadership Committee. That is a group of people that volunteer for GTIA, and we are the people that work with the leadership and the staff at GTI. So like Dan Wensley, Miss Nancy, MJ, the board, Scotty, Rob, all of those guys, on what it is that they want us to accomplish. And then we as the GLC try to figure out how can we help get those objectives done? What goals is it that we're trying to do? And then how can we come up with some plans for those as a group? I absolutely love being involved in that committee because it's really the sort of the who's who of the channel. And it's also global, which I love. So it's people from all of the different regions, which I absolutely love. I'm also on the executive council. So every region at GTI has an EC, as we call it, executive council. So I'm North America, and I am lovely. I have a lovely person that does it with me. Her name is Cynthia. She's the chair. I'm the co-chair. So we run North America this year. She's a wonderful person to partner with. She's my partner in crime, as I say. And then every different region has another EC, and they have a chair and a vice chair. So then those people also come to ChannelCon as well. So it's also a great time for us to be able to connect with these other regions and see all the kind of cool stuff they're doing and share and swap stories.
Brooke, could you give us just a taste of what you spoke on? You were in a couple of sessions. What were you discussing?
So at the new member orientation, we were talking to people about making sure that you're staying plugged in and what the true definition of community is. Yes, you should go to the sessions. Yes, you should do all of the learning. But I really wanted to impart upon people that a lot of the space is networking. Who knows somebody else that knows somebody else that can help you solve a problem? That is something that I really think is super important in this space. Is I always tell people, if it's not me, I know a guy. Maybe I can't solve your problem, but you tell me what you got going on and I can walk over to somebody's booth, or I can go find somebody to try to help you solve a problem. So we had that one. And then this morning we had the Global Women in Tech Breakfast. That is a group that I ran 2 years ago, and then I passed it off to Renee McCloden and Catherine Gray. They're running the group now, and they have just really taken out and run with that. We have so many women in that group now that we are literally trying to figure out how we're going to place all of these women in different parts and pieces of the Global Women in Tech organization. So those were the two that I did this year.
Brooke, I really want to thank you again for joining me today, taking some time out on a very busy day.
Yes, sir.
You're a very busy individual. People have been recognizing you and saying, "I really like what you have on your jacket" and so on. So, where can we learn more about Rev.io?
You can actually just go to rev.io and go to the website. You can see everything that we're doing there. Definitely stay checked in, plugged in often. If you need to, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can email me, Brooke, B-R-O-O-K, no E, at rev.io. Happy to get you connected with anybody there. Love to talk to you about what's going on. We do a ton of educational stuff as well, so definitely go to the website. I do a webinar at least 1 or 2 a month.
Wow.
They're always educational, and we always give away something for free.
And where can we learn, since you're so active in the GTIA, how can we learn more about this organization?
GTI.org. It's a great website. You're able to see all the information there, all of the different communities that we have, the councils, the interest groups, the webinars that we have. There's so much value out there for every single person at your MSP, ITSP, or vendor. It's not just a tech-based company. We have something for every single department, every single person that you have at your company. We have marketing help, sales help, admin help, events help, tech help, cyber help. We have a wealth of resources, and I really want people to know that so that they can take advantage of the total of GTIA.
Brooke, thank you very much indeed
Yes,
for
sir.
joining me.